Foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the leaders of the nation of Israel today. And double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, risking their lives of freedom to push the gospel. Okay? Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's our message, man. All right, that's part of the gospel. And Kazak Shalom to you, man, out there risking your lives, man, to push this gospel, man. All right, whether they hear, whether they forbear. And I have a couple videos I want to get into from Forest Breaking News dealing with the disinformation. All right, and we gonna get into it, see what the spirit allows. All right, see what the spirit hit. All right, let's get into it.
I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Congressman Jim Langevin questioned DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas about election security during a House Homeland Security Committee hearing on Wednesday. The Rhode Island Democrat feared that Russia is more incentivized to interfere in upcoming U.S. elections in retaliation for sanctions the U.S. issued over Putin's invasion.
And that's the spirit. That's what they said happened with the last election, right? Russian interference, right? So what does that mean? There's going to be a cyber attack, man. Okay, it could play out at any moment now because they always say the Russians are good with cyber attacks, and they are. And this is part of the this is what the World Economic Forum has on their agenda. They have to cause a a global economic shutdown, and part of it has to deal with the cyber, the internet as well, man. All right, and these things can happen at any moment, man. We in those times, man. All right.
Into Ukraine. Here's Mayorkas outlining the Department of Homeland Security's plan.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Rhode Island for 5 minutes, Mr. Langevin.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, welcome today. And I have a vastly different view on your service and the performance you and your people are undertaking and doing over at DHS. I thank you for your leadership. You have a lot on your plate, and the toughest issues to deal with outside of perhaps Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State. So I deeply appreciate everything you're doing to protect our national security. Secretary Mayorkas, I want to focus on election security right now because your department has significant responsibilities for election security, both in terms of managing the risks to election infrastructure and countering mis and disinformation that can certainly undermine it.
And they like to say, Esau Edom, who is the ruler of this kingdom, right? Feet mixed with mire and clay, right? This is the kingdom, which is the Roman Empire back in the reincarnation of the NATO, the EU, and the whore that sitteth upon the beast, which is America, right? Because all these nations, all these the UN, the EU, and the NATO is led by who? America, right? That's the whore that sitteth upon the beast. Now, I'm not saying the United Nations is part of the beast, but that just shows you the power of the whore, America, right? But they want to limit misinformation, which really is they want to limit the truth, man. All right, they want to stop this truth from getting out because it's condemning him, man. Right? The Spirit has revealed, has put Yahweh Shem Shah has put the Spirit on the apostles and elders, okay, who are the leaders of the nation of Israel today, okay. They put the Spirit on them to reveal this man, all right, the son of perdition, okay, with the Crown Vic pandemic, okay. This was it was revealed that the Jews cannot be trusted, man, all right, and we were revealed, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, the ingredients, the concoction, the ingredients that was put in that juice has been revealed, man. All right, and we see what it does. Okay, it alters you, man. Okay, you're no longer human. You're a transhuman. And that's the whole thing. That's part. That's part of the new world order, right? They want transhumanism, all right? And now, so they're trying to condemn. They're trying to label the truth as misinformation, all right? But it's no. If it can, I'm gonna get it, all right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 39. Well, 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, right? Talking about the disciples, right? The apostles during that time, right? Because they were going around pushing the gospel, performing miracles, right? And that's we're in Acts 2.0 right now. We're doing spiritual miracles. The Lord said, greater works than this shall we do, right? We're waking up, brothers, through the Spirit. Okay, we're rebuking devils, man. Rebuking the evil spirits off of brothers and bringing them back to Yahweh Shem Shai. All right? It says, now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. Right? But if it be of the Yahweh, you cannot overthrow it, lest happily you be found even to fight against Yahweh. All right, so what they're doing it cannot overthrow the works of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. All right, this is they're fulfilling prophecy on their end, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna get it. This is it's gonna be people are gonna search far and wide for what's going on, man. All right, because why? This is Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst of water, for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And that's what's about to happen. Okay, these Edomites, okay, the devil, right, is about to do away with the internet. All right, he's gonna, well, not do away with, all right, but he's gonna limit access. Certain things you can search, and it's gonna be a limited things you can search on the internet, man. All right, and the truth will not be on the internet, man. All right, particularly YouTube. Okay, you have other websites like Odyssey where they they don't take down controversial videos, right? But YouTube is bought and paid for it, man. All right. In verse 12, it says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro and seek the word of Yahweh Shem Shai and shall not find it. Because your prophets are going to be hid in those days, man. All right. As soon as this cyber attack hits, people are going to search for answers, and the Lord is going to have us, our tongues cleave to the roof of our mouths, man. All right. Because we starting with the apostles, on down, brothers have been prophesying, apostles and elders, for decades and decades, right? And you got brothers coming in at the 11th hour, right? Prophesying, man. All right. All right. So we gonna get back into it.
Americans' confidence in the electoral process. I know that I have confidence in great leadership at CISA and Director Easterly and the work that she's doing as well. But I want to focus on the fact that Russia obviously has attempted to interfere with U.S. elections before. And I certainly believe that we absolutely have to be prepared now more than ever to redouble those efforts, given what's going on in Ukraine. That could be in retaliation for the punishing sanctions that the U.S. enacted for Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Ms. Secretary, can you tell us what the department is doing to shore up election security from Russian cyber interference? Give confidence to the committee and the American people that we've got this and we are ready to protect and defend our electoral process.
Congressman, thank you very much. This is one of our priority areas, and as a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, I engaged with secretaries of state from all over the country to focus our efforts on election security. We are building upon the great work of the former CISA director, Chris Krebs. Jen Easterly is leading, of course, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency in this effort. We have just established Mis and Disinformation Governance Board in the Department of Homeland Security to more effectively combat this threat, not only to election security, but to our homeland security. We are
And a while back, they have labeled misinformation. Let's see if it's still on there. Where is it? Here it is. This was back in alright. Let's see. Summary of terrorism threat to U.S. homeland. Okay. And this was on the 7th of February 2022. Alright, let's get into it. It says the United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors, including an online environment filled with false or misleading narrative and conspiracy theories or other forms of mis, dis, and malinformation introduced or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. Right? These threat actors seek to exacerbate societal friction to sow discord and undermine public trust in government institutions, to encourage unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence. Okay, and we, the real Hebrew Israelites, we don't incite any of these things. We don't inspire acts of violence. We don't. We're not sowing discord or societal friction. All right. That's good. We're not doing any of that. We're just spreading truth. All right. We don't carry weapons. Right. All right. We don't do any of those things, man. All right. Those that subscribe to the doctrine that the Lord had gave to the elders and apostles of GMS, Great Millstone. We don't incite violence or anything. We push the truth, whether you hear or forbear. All right. No weapons or anything. Okay. We push the truth. Right. It says mass casualty, right? Because what does it say in 2 Corinthians, right? It says 2 Corinthians chapter 4 Salaki, I think it's give me 1 second. First Corinthians. 1 second, Salaki. Hold on. Oh yeah, I was there. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 4. It says, verse 3. Alright, it says, for though we walk in the flesh, right, we do not war after the flesh, meaning we don't take up weapons or anything, man. Why? Verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. So we don't carry weapons. They're labeling the scriptures, the Bible as a weapon, really. Okay, because this word condemns wickedness, man. All right, and this government, okay, who was Mount Seir, right? This government pushes nothing but a wicked vibration upon the world, man. All right, just look. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? Malachi 1 verse 4 says Esau, Edom, right? So-called white man, a self-proclaimed white man. All right. It says verse 5. It says casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahushua. And this is what we do. We cast off demons through the Holy Scriptures, man. All right, through the Spirit and power of Yahushua. This is the only thing we have on us when we're out there. All right. book bags and Bibles, man. All right, let's read more. It says mass casualty attacks and other acts of targeted violence conducted by lone offenders and small groups acting in furtherance of ideological beliefs and slash or personal grievances pose an ongoing threat to the nation. All right, but wasn't this nation built on Christianity? All right, now Christianity is being outlawed against, man. All right, the true Christianity, the Mashiachium, right? Because we are the real Christians, man. All right, and Christians, it really is a derogatory term. All right, because they call us fools for believing that someone rose up from the dead. All right, and that man is going to return. Right, that's why they're trying to do away with the Bible. Right, because it's the book. The Bible is a book of prophecy, meaning a living book. Right, meaning things are going to happen in this book years before years after they're written. Right, just like the transatlantic slave trade was prophesied in the Bible. Right, which was given to Moses thousands and thousands of years ago, man, roughly over 4,000 years ago. All right. It says while the conditions of underlying the heightened threat landscape have not significantly changed over the last year, the convergence of the following factors has increased the volatility, unpredictability, and complexity of the threat environment. The proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord, right? So if you don't abide by E's falsehoods, right? He's gonna say you're sowing discord, man. All right, let's get that, cause E is all about spreading falsehood and lies, man. All right, this man is not. It's not meant for him to be upright. All right, the Lord has created him to do evil. All right, and nothing but evil. All right, this is Psalms 144 and 7. It says, "Send thine hand from above." Right, and thy hand is Yahweh Shai, right, who is the right hand of the Most High, Yahweh. It says, "Rid me and deliver me out of great waters from the hand of strange children." And you Edomites are strange children, man. All right, now I want to go to that word "strange" in the Edamon. It says, "From elsewhere, foreign, unknown, unfamiliar," because the scriptures call Esau profane, which means outside of the temple. So you're foreign, you're strange. All right. Everything you do is a complete opposite of the Heavenly Father. All right. Verse 8, "Whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood," man. All right. And that's what they do. Everything is a falsehood, man. Which falsehood goes back to, it means deceitfulness, man. All right. A lie, right? It says the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in the U.S. government institutions. And the U.S. government cannot be trusted, okay? There's plenty of information out there dealing with how America backstabs its own people and foreign countries. It says continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets, and mass gatherings, faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosques, institutions of higher education, racial and religious minorities, government facilities and personnel, including law enforcement and the military, the media, and perceived ideological opponents, caused by foreign terrorist organizations for attacks on. Okay, we're gonna go back to the second point. It says continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets, and mass gatherings, faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosques, institutions of higher education, racial and religious minorities. But this is what you're doing. You're calling for violence against all these things that you listed, man. All right, especially religious and faith-based institutions, man. All right, forcing them to take the juice, right? That's an attack, man. We gonna get back to the video.
Needing information to the secretaries of state We are counseling them and providing resources to ensure better physical security. We are addressing all aspects of election security, given, of course, the midterm elections that are upon us and the fundamental integrity of our democratic processes that is at stake.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and I appreciate you outlining those steps that are being taken. They're important, of course, but let me also turn to the fact that, of course, the scope of Russian cyber threats extends beyond our elections. Also, we know that the Russian government is exploring options for potential cyber attacks against the United States and our critical infrastructure. President Biden warned against that recently, and making sure that we have all hands on deck to make sure that our critical infrastructure as well is being protected. But DHS, through the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency under Director Easterly, of course, plays a major role in not only securing federal networks against these threats, but also coordinating with government and private sectors to secure our critical infrastructure. So in approaching this multifaceted responsibility, DHS, through CISA, has generated innovative approaches to cybersecurity collaboration, both the interagency and the broader set of public and private sector stakeholders in the cybersecurity ecosystem. I want to ask, what can we expect from the department moving forward to maintain and further develop this work? And obviously, there's considerable level of variance across our critical infrastructure. For instance, certain companies have different inherent cybersecurity capacities, use different technologies, and have different levels of significance to national critical functions. How should DHS public-private partnerships account for such variances?
So there's been tremendous work underway, Congressman, in CISA under Jen Easterly's leadership. In the wake of the unprovoked and brutal Russian assault against Ukraine's sovereignty, CISA developed the Shields Up campaign, which is really an effort to disseminate information throughout the private sector with respect to the threat
technologies and have different levels of significance to national critical functions. How should DHS public-private partnerships account for such variances?
So there's been tremendous work underway, Congressman, in CISA under Jen Easterly's leadership. In the wake of the unprovoked and brutal Russian assault against Ukraine's sovereignty, CISA developed the Shields Up campaign, which is really an effort to disseminate information throughout the private sector with respect to the threat landscape, so that the private sector, which really houses the majority of our nation's critical infrastructure, can have its shields up, can be alert to the threat landscape, can understand the vulnerabilities that exist, and can patch those vulnerabilities and know how to do so. That Shields Up effort is really extraordinary and unprecedented in scope and scale. And we also have been assisted with legislation that does not...
Let's go to the next video.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Payne, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It says Donald Payne questions Alejandro Mayorkas about ongoing threats to houses of worship, right? Continued calls for, right? Summary of terrorism threat, right? It says continued calls for violence directed at, right? It says faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosques, racial and religious minorities, okay? Yeah, also, are not these terrorists? Is not the Homeland Security terrorists?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today, and I just
Jake
like to
is gone,
start
man.
with, I hope
Our people are gone, man. Look, shave face, man. All right, look at that, man. That's just sickening, man. I hate to see our people, join with this beast system, man. All right, because they have no idea what the fuck is going on, man. All right, they're truly under a spell, man. All right, and these people are gonna, fuck these people. Let's get back to the video.
our CPP Border Patrol officers understand and continue to do their duty and not engage in political activities, to turn their back on the secretary is not helpful or fruitful at all. And I would hope that even if, when they don't agree with some of that, they understand their duty and continue to answer to the secretary and their leadership. Secretary Mayorkas, I'll get right into it. In recent months, we have seen threats to houses of worship increase. And I'm particularly concerned about the ongoing threats to houses of worship in the African American community. The Nonprofit Security Grant Program, or NSGP, is a key tool in helping houses of worship protect themselves from threats. For this reason, I was pleased to see the budget proposal request for $360 million for NSGP. Secretary Mayorkas, how is the department working to promote the program to African American community, including Black churches who need these?
And nobody's black, man. All right, you're brown. See, he's a brown man. Okay, I don't see any blackness on him, man. None. All right.
Sources.
Congressman, thank you very much for your important words regarding that grant program. We have engaged and embarked upon a very extensive communication effort to make sure that we reach otherwise disenfranchised institutions that very well might need those funds and otherwise could not access them. As I referenced earlier, I was in Detroit, Michigan, I believe it was last month, and met with faith-based groups in the African American community to understand the difficulties that they were having in accessing the grant program.
And a lot of these churches, these faith-based churches in the hood, they're no good. Okay, they don't teach the truth, man. All right, under a lot of these churches are under a 501(c)(3), and they don't have any breakdown, no knowledge of the scriptures or anything. So whatever happens to those churches, okay, it'll be a righteous judgment from Yahweh Shah, because the Lord cannot do iniquity. All right. If the Lord wants something to happen to them churches, He's gonna let it happen, because they have destroyed our people, man. These pastors have destroyed our people, man. All right. So to hell with you churches, man. All right. And I'm not, saying go and fuck up any churches. No, I'm not saying that. The Lord is gonna destroy these churches, man. All right. Who knows how He'll destroy it, man? Okay. The Lord is a king of terrors, man. All right. Some of us send, we send curses upon these churches, man. All right. Meaning what? We speak, we pray to the Lord that He destroy these churches, man. All right. We not taking up any weapons against these churches. All right.
Needs that they had, and underscoring the importance of the resources that our grant program distributes. And so really it is all about engagement, the sharing of information, and improving access to this critical grant program.
Okay, well, I am going to be helping the churches in my area, my district, access that grant. And so working with you, I appreciate us partnering in helping us access those grants in my district and around the country. It is a group that has been left out of that process, and we need to bring them into it. So thank you. Also, how are you ensuring that FEMA can administer the program effectively and provide oversight to states as they play a key role in submitting the grant application to FEMA?
Congressman, we have a tremendous leader of FEMA in Deanne Criswell. The Deputy Administrator of FEMA, Eric Hooks, comes to the department with tremendous experience in actually managing a grant program and representing a state that is a recipient of a grant program. We are engaging extensively, as I mentioned before, with all communities, including minority communities.
We're going to skip to the next video.
I thank
Right.
the Secretary for
It
his
says domestic violent extremism poses greatest terrorist-related threat to U.S. All right, let's read. Let's see what this. Sloppy.
I remind each member that
Slide.
he or she will have 5 minutes to question the witnesses. It's my understanding that because we expect votes, I'm going to adhere to that 5-minute rule very strictly. I'll now recognize myself for questions. The Secretary, in your testimony, you discussed how the 2 decades since 9/11, the homeland threat picture has shifted dramatically from foreign terrorists to domestic terrorists, in particular, racially motivated.
See, all right. Look who's pushing it. Our people, man. All right, hold on, Salaki. Sheesh. As soon as it starts fucking storming, man. Alright.
Violent extremists strictly. I'll now recognize myself for questions. The Secretary, in your testimony, you discussed how the 2 decades since 9/11, the homeland threat picture has shifted dramatically from foreign terrorists to domestic terrorists, in particular, racially motivated violent extremists who present.
And the most racially motivated violent extremists is the so-called white man. Okay, look what he does to our people and when they're in these churches. All right, what do? They look at Dylan Roof. Look at George Zimmerman. Okay, look at the cop who killed George Floyd. Okay, which was a psyop. All right, a lot of instances where these Edomites have committed terrorist-related acts. All right, you know, but look what they're trying to do. They're trying to label the prophets as terrorists, man. All right.
Most lethal threat to the home.
Meanwhile, we're the most peaceful people there is, man. We like the scripture, like Yahushua said, agree with thy adversary quickly. We agree with these officers. You know, when they tell us we have to switch locations. All right. You know, we're not out there doing any violent acts, man. Okay, the so-called white man, Esau Edom, is the violent one, man. All right, forcing you to conform to his ways through, starting with Christianity, right? And if you didn't abide by Christianity, you would be put to death, tortured, okay, set on fire, all right, even eaten alive, right? Right, because this man is the devil, man, right? He's a hypocrite. The scriptures talk about the Lord will send a hypocritical nation among them. He will send I'm gonna find it. Give me 1 second. This is Isaiah chapter 10, verse 6. I'm going to start at 5. It says, O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. Right? Because the Lord controls all these kings, man. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He said he set it up one and he taken down one and set it up another, right? You know, that's what Daniel 4:17, Psalms 75, right? The Lord is in control of these kings, man. All right. Verse 6, I will sin against him, right? And Esau, Edom is spiritually known as the Egyptians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, okay? It says, I will sin against him and I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. All right. So the Lord is going to send who against you? The Russians. Okay. Okay, because you eat because the Russians are Edomites as well. All right. All right. So the Lord said, "O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, right, and the staff in their hand is my indignation, right, because the Russians are going to take out America, all right, with thermonuclear missiles, all right, as well as these other nations. But the main one is going to be Russia, because it's you know, he sent in Revelation 13, it goes into the leopard and the feet of a bear, and the leopard represents the Greek Empire, right, and the feet represent the Russian Empire, the Russians. Okay, it says, "And the staff in their hand is mine indignation." So whatever the Russians are doing, right, like for example, on what's going on in Ukraine, that's the Lord's indignation. All right. It says, "I will send I will send him against the hypocritical nation," which is who? Esau, Edom. All right. The Lord is going to send Russia against you, man. All right. And I don't want to go into that word hypocritical. It says, "Of pertaining to or proceeding from hypocrisy." All right. Let's go to Let's go into that word hypocrite. It's not really giving much, because the word hypocrite goes back to what? False pretender, an actor, false pretender to virtue or religion, right? You claim to be you know, this so-called God-fearing person, but what do? You break every law that's in the scriptures, all right? And one of the laws you're breaking is bearing false witness, okay? Sowing discord, okay? This is what you're doing. All right, it says, "I will send," Isaiah 10:6, "I will send him against a hypocritical nation," right? The Lord is going to send Russia against America. "And against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire in the streets." And you can get that in Isaiah the 13th chapter, all right? The Lord, these Russians are not going to show any mercy to you Americans, man, all right? And we're going to get back into it.
What is your current assessment of the domestic terrorism threat to our country?
Mr. Chairman, it is our assessment that domestic violent extremism poses the greatest terrorism-related threat to our homeland. And we have taken a number of steps in the Department of Homeland Security to meet this consequential challenge. First, our Office of Intelligence and Analysis created a separate section in its office to focus on this particular threat stream. Second, we have disseminated an unprecedented number of intelligence and information products to state and local law enforcement so that they are equipped to recognize and address the challenge in their respective jurisdictions. We also created the Center for Prevention Programs and Partnership, we call it CP3, to equip and resource communities to recognize and address the challenge within their boundaries. We believe that empowerment of local communities and state and local law enforcement is the best vehicle to address this challenge today.
Thank you. Recently, a number of historically black colleges and universities, as well as religious institutions, receive threats. What is the department doing to address this type domestic violence extremism in America?
Mr.
Go
Chairman,
back. Let's go back.
Thank you. Recently, a number of historically black colleges and universities, as well as religious institutions, received threats. What is the department doing to address this type domestic violence, extremism in America?
Mr. Chairman, a few weeks ago, I had a meeting with presidents of historically black colleges and universities, and a few weeks ago, I met with faith-based institutions in Detroit, Michigan, to hear from them with respect to the resources they need, the challenges they confront, how they can make their respective institutions welcoming at the same time as secure. And one of the key takeaways was, again, the need for increased funding through the Nonprofit Security Grant Program, which this committee has historically supported, and we are appreciative of that, and to make sure that those grant dollars, those critical grant dollars, are accessible to all, even those that might not have the resources or infrastructure to otherwise access our programs. And equality of access and ease of access are core principles of ours, and we are working to strengthen our operations in that regard.
Thank you. Now, the department is charged with securing the homeland, not just the border. You've released 12 priorities across DHS's mission space to guide your strategic focus through 2022. Can you please share with the committee the highlights of these priorities and how they will advance the department's critical mission?
Mr. Chairman, we set out, I published 12 priorities for the department. I did so in March of this year. 6 of the priorities are focused on advancement of the organization.
6, right? 6. That's their number. Okay. That's their number, man.
As an institution, and 6 are mission specific. I can give some examples of the critical priorities. Increase the integration and effectiveness of the department as an organization. Harness technology. Ensure that we are not only espousing but critically implementing the core principles of diversity, equity, inclusion, and opportunity throughout our workforce, including at all levels of leadership. The mission-specific area, and these are just but a few.
And when he says diversity, he means put the black woman ahead of the so-called black man. All right, that's the diversity. Okay, showing you Israelite men no respect. That's the diversity. Taking you out of authority and putting you at the bottom. That's the words. That's their way of diversity. Okay, that's an attack, man. That's an attack, man. These guys are the terrorists. This so-called white man. His shirt is white. What is his skin color? A shade of pink. All right.
Examples, of course, fighting transnational criminal organizations and smuggling operations to better secure our border, fighting terrorism and targeted violence.
Let's go to the next video.
I'm Brittany Lewis with.
All right. You see what it says. Grilled about disinformation, governance board, and censoring Hunter Biden stories. All right. And as you know, he has a laptop, which really condemns the whole family, man. All right. And they're trying to hide these things, man. All right. But there's no hiding things from the Lord. Why? Because Yahweh Shah said, this is Luke 12:2. It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." All right, meaning what? Everything is gonna come to the light. All right. It says, That's it. I'm gonna read it again. It says, "Therefore there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." Man, all right. And it also has it in Matthew 10:26. It says, "Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known." All right. So everything is coming to the light, man. All right. You're being revealed by the Spirit of the Lord's mouth, which is the prophets. All right.
Breaking news. The Department of Homeland Security announced last week that it is establishing a disinformation governance board to combat false information online. The board was revealed at a Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing and quickly faced criticism from Republicans worried that the board would suppress free speech. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas acknowledged that the purpose and activities of the board could have been better communicated as it was announced, but pushed back on criticisms against it. Listen in as White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki is pressed on the rollout and purpose of the board.
Doesn't know that DHS is putting together this disinformation governance board.
Well, Peter, I think I would note, and I'm not sure if this has been in your reporting yet, but this is a continuation of work that was done under the prior administration, under the Trump administration, to take steps to address disinformation, address the use of disinformation in helping smugglers prompt the movement of more migrants across to the border. I would note that the first example given in the announcement about this was DHS's work to understand how, quote, misinformation spread by human smugglers that prey on vulnerable populations attempting to migrate to the United States. So for anyone who's out there who may be concerned about the increase in migrants to the border, this is the kind of apparatus that's working to address disinformation.
Right.
And again, continuing the work of the Department of Homeland Security in 2020, something we're currently applauding.
But just in terms of what the president wants out of this, does he want the people on this board to start censoring information that is not helpful to him?
Well, let me be clear on exactly what this board does, or what the work they are doing does. And in their announcement, which is publicly available on the Department of Homeland Security website for anyone to read, it says, quote, "The primary mission is to establish best practices to ensure that efforts to understand and respond to disinformation are done in ways that protect privacy, civil rights, and civil liberties, and the right to free speech."
But, okay, there's this woman, Nina Jankowicz, who is going to be in charge of the board. She has said that she thinks the Hunter Biden laptop is Russian disinformation. So, should we look forward in the future to her censoring internet traffic about the Hunter Biden laptop?
I think I noted exactly what the objective of the board is, including continuing the work of the prior administration. And the woman you noted has extensive experience and has done extensive work addressing disinformation. She has testified before Congress, testified in Europe. She has worked closely with the Ukrainians and has unique expertise, especially at this moment we're facing. Go ahead.
So that's what's coming,
I'm
man.
reading
It's about to be
with
a lot
Forbes
of
breaking news.
it's about to be a lot of limiting on what you. It's about to be a famine of the word, man. All right, you people who have not searched far and wide to get the full understanding of Yahweh Shem Shah, this truth. Okay, you're gonna be out there, man. All right, you're gonna be a casualty of war, man. All right. Let's see what this is talking about, and then we can close out with this video.
The Department of Homeland Security announced last week that it is establishing a disinformation governance board to combat false information online. The board was revealed at a Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing and quickly faced criticism from Republicans worried that the board would suppress free speech. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas acknowledged that the purpose and activities of the board could have been better communicated as it was announced, but pushed back on criticisms against it. Listen in as White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki is pressed on the rollout and purpose of the board.
To all of you.
And following up as well on the Disinformation Governance Board. Reading the announcement as well, two examples were very prominent. That was, you mentioned, combating disinformation from cartels, and then also disinformation from extremist groups.
Yes.
Just in terms of clarifying here, can you help me kind of assess how this would look for like the common the person that's at their computer right now that sees disinformation online, or for cartels it's usually buying a segment on the radio and saying now's the time to come. How exactly would this board combat that? Would it just be fact checks, publishing guidance, or what would Americans actually see when it comes to the work of this board?
Well, it's continuing work that was done by CISA back to 2020. So what this would do is continue that work, and it would help coordinate internal activities from the department related to disinformation that poses a threat to the homeland. So you gave some examples there of terrorist threats, of course, but also, which is different, the smugglers' work that they do pushing disinformation. The mandate is not to adjudicate what is true or false online or otherwise. It will operate in a nonpartisan and apolitical manner. It's basically meant to coordinate a lot of the ongoing work that is happening, and what their focus is on disinformation and threats to the homeland, as I noted, which things that would incite violent extremism, human traffickers and other transnational criminal organizations, any efforts that malign foreign influence, anything that would endanger individuals during emergencies. So a lot of this work is really about work that people may not see every day, that's ongoing by the Department of Homeland Security.
Would there be something public facing they would see, or would all of this happen kind of behind closed doors amongst
Well, they certainly will consider putting out public products that represents the department's view on disinformation-related manners, but that's their overarching objective, and I don't have a determination of what that format would look like at this
One
point.
more on that, just what will DHS be relying on when determining what is information from extremist groups? Will they relying on the FBI's sort of, lists of groups that could pose extremist violence, or is there some other kind of platform that DHS is relying on to identify?
Sure, I understand your question. I'm not sure there's much detail I can get into from here. This is, again, ongoing work that has been happening by CISA back to 2020, and I would point you to the Department of Homeland Security if they have more details on any sources they're looking at.
Is this being run through CISA then?
It was run through CISA for back to 2020. It's continuing that work, and it's part of the Department of Homeland Security's work.
Yeah, one more.
All right, I'm gonna close out with
This
this
is
scripture.
all for an uprising. Well,
This is Isaiah 55:6, because this is what you people need to do, man. All right, and also for you, you men have who have came back to the Heavenly Father, okay, who have been given this grace period, and you have abused your liberty, man. All right, you still want to kick it, okay? You still want to play video games, still want to just go out and fuck bitches. All right, you have not used this grace period wisely. Okay, it says Isaiah 55:6, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near, man. And the Lord is near right now. Okay, the doors of mercy are closing, man. The enemy is making his move. All right, the Lord is about to take away this knowledge, man. All right, it says verse 7. This is the point. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the wicked is talking about our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Seminole, Native American Indians. Okay, you have to forsake your way, man, because your way is death, man. It says, in the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, whose name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shah, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our power. For he will abundantly pardon, man. All right, so the Lord will he will multiply his mercy, and he will pardon you, man. All right, abundantly, man. All right, because the Lord is a man of his word, man. All right, and I'm gonna close out with that. Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash. And the honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Kwame Yasharala Baba Ball.